Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Nida Azzahra, and now I want to explain or answer the question about assessment and evaluation. The first question is, explain the relationship between teaching, assessing, and testing. Okay, I think the three concepts are very relatable each others. The first is teaching. Teacher must teach a student like a certain subject or certain matters like grammatical structure and then vocabulary and then even a story. The second is assessment or assessing. Assessing is the goal of assessing is to use how the student understand about a topic. For example, if a student needs helps or student have problems, and then the teacher or others or all of the friends can provide personal explanation to the student that are don't understand from topic or subtopic. And then the last is testing. Testing. A teacher has to make a test, and then student do assessment, and then teacher provide it, and then the teacher have to make a test, and the purpose is no, so far the student understand about the material that given before. Okay, the second question is, explain the difference between the communicative and integrative approach. Okay, communicative approach is an approach based on the idea and the ability to use language in communication is a goal that must be achieved in a language learning. And the integrative approach can be interpreted as an approach that unites several aspects into one process. The third question is, explain the following form of the test and provide the example. Okay, the first is subjective test. Subjective test is evaluated by giving the opinion. For example, is essay examination. And then the second is objective test. Objective test is a test has right or wrong, and so that can be marked objectively. For example, is true or false test. And the third is formative test. Formative test is generally low stakes. For example, is I think which means that they have low or no point value. And for example, formative test is draw a concept or mind mapping in a class and then represent it in front of the class. And last is summative test. Summative test is a assessment or test to evaluate student learning at the end of the instructional unit by comparing it against some standard of benchmark. For example, is end of term or midterm exam, and then final project or creative portfolio. The first question is, explain one example of positive and negative washback. A test washback effect will be negative if it fails to reflect the learning principles and course objectives to which the test supposedly relates, and it will be positive if the effect and beneficial and encourage the whole range of desired change. The fifth question is, A. Mention the structure of multiple choice. The structure of multiple choice is include two parts: a stem that identifies the question or problem, and a set of alternative or possible answer that contain a key that is the best answer to question, and a number of distractions that are plausible but incorrect answer to the question. 5b. Elaborate on the advantage and limitations of multiple choice for the test administrator. Okay, they have fast processing time. There is no room for subjectively. You can ask more questions. It takes less time to complete multiple choice question compare an open question. So in as test administrator, it is so important because the respondent cannot explain the answer. So the respondent just have to click or click or false wrong. So it makes simple. For the sixth question is explain the participial purpose of CEFR. The CEFR is intended to provide a shared basis for reflection and communication among the different partners in the field, including the involved in the teacher education and the elaboration of language syllabus, curriculum guidelines, textbook examination, and others. The member state of Council of Europe. Last question is explain the advantage of applying authentic assessment rather than a traditional check. Okay, authentic assessment gives more direct evidence about student knowledge than a standardized test can. Even when a student answers correctly on a test, the teacher doesn't know how he arrived at the answer. So the teacher must use indirect evidence. Maybe it was just a wild guess. Okay, I think that's all. I think enough. This is my answer. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.